Welcome to the Mack Talks, everybody. I am your host, Scott Johnson. This fella to my right is your co-host, Chase Hutchison.
Good morning, guys.
Chase, do me a favor and tell our listeners what the Mack Talks are.
So if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or impactful leader, the Mack Talks are the vehicle that bring you the stories that you need to hear.
That's right. And today we have an awesome guest that we're super excited for. It's our first type of guest of his kind coming in. Usually we have just regular, people that come in, but this guy we feel is a superstar within our area, and we're super excited to have him. I know Chase is very, very excited to have him because
got a lot of questions.
He's got a wrestling background, team captain for
Newtown
High School wrestling back in his day, so he loves this sport a lot. So Chase, why don't you go ahead and introduce our next guest?
Today we have a living legend of the UFC on the podcast. He's a Brazilian mixed martial artist and former member of the Brazilian national wrestling team who currently competes in the light heavyweight division of the UFC. He is also the owner of Teixeira MMA and Fitness located in Bethel, Connecticut. Glover Teixeira, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Like I told you before, I know that, Chase used to be a wrestler. He's a diehard fan of yours. I wasn't really into MMA too much until I started hearing about this guy from Danbury that was fighting, this Brazilian guy from Danbury. My wife's Brazilian, so I naturally, it's easy to like Brazil soccer. That's an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? But when I heard that you were from Danbury and I started to hear about you, I started to kind of get a little more involved into MMA and stuff. Obviously, I've always been a big Joe Rogan fan, but that's a little bit. he's MMA, but he's also entertainment. He's all over the place. So, But yeah, so I'm gonna let Chase kind of take it because I know he's got a lot of questions that he kind of wants to ask you and he kind of wants to get into with you. So, and then we could talk a little more about your business and different things like that. So
yeah, so I figured I'd start off the podcast with a little bit about the UFC and just talk about what it's like to be a fighter and how you represent yourself and everything. And then we'll talk about like more of the business side of it and maybe a little bit about your your new camp, your new training facility you got there in Bethel. So. First, I want to talk about UFC, what it's like to be a UFC fighter. I guess the question is really, what has been harder for you? Has it been training and fighting in the UFC, or has it been opening this new business that you have in Bethel and representing that and getting people to come in and work out with you? What's been kind of a bigger challenge for you?
It's difficult to say because I love both. I love both. I don't see. I know, of course, in a fighting, it's a lot of pressure. You go into a lot of pressure a lot of the times, and you lose a fight, and that vibration goes down, go negative a little bit. So those kind of things. In a fighting, it's difficult because dealing with the ups and downs. But like. I guess I love what I do. I love to train. I love to be in the gym. It's kind of. I tell people all the time, it's kind of sucks getting old because I don't want to stop fighting. I wish this was a podcast so you can do a podcast forever.
Yeah,
you can't fight forever.
Yeah.
You can't fight forever. So you know what I mean. But that's why I opened the gym because I wanted to be in that environment. Like I wanted to train the next guy. And if I could do that and have a champion, or people in UFC, and then help them realize their dream, for me is a field that every time I go to the gym, and the gym is doing great, I can't complain. So it's no difficult there. So I just I love my job. I love what I'm doing right now. I'm in a very good stage of my life right now.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I noticed that you didn't fight your first UFC fight until you were 32, I think it was.
Yeah.
So what is it? Take us through the journey of how you got there. I know that, I'm not sure when you came here to the U.S., but I know that you were in Brazil. You were on the wrestling, the national wrestling team. So take us a little bit through how you became, a UFC fighter.
Oh, that come later. 99, I come over here. I come over here. I was illegally here. So... I never trained in Brazil. I was living in a farm, grew up in a farm over there. come over here. But I always loved the fighting game, you know. I watch a lot. As a kid, I watch Bruce Lee and
Yeah.
all those movies, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme, you know,
Yeah.
all those martial arts movie. And I come over here, of course, I went to a Blockbuster, you know,
Yeah.
over there by...
Yeah, actually, next to Boston Market.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And I rented some tapes and it was UFC 1 and 2 and 3. Royce, Gracie, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was like, I gotta learn that. I gotta do that. And I'm a big fan of Mike Tyson too. So I went to a Hot City Boxing at that time in Danbury. You remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
He probably don't.
But I've heard of it.
Yeah.
So that was the first gym I went, and you know, few months later, I already I started my first fight. You know, after that's why I tell people all the time, my experience is helping me to be coaching, right? Because 6 months later, I had my first fight.
Yeah.
Of course, didn't go well. It's not gonna go well in
Yeah.
6 months of training. No one. I'm not gonna say no one, but it's gonna be difficult for you to be 6 months fighting and go and fight in a cage, an octagon, and it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
So you need more time.
Yep.
So that's a good thing that I tell my students all the time. Say, hey, you guys in the right path. Just keep going, keep working, and patient.
Yeah.
So I come and I got called. I have some fights over here. I fought WEC at that time, and I knock out this guy Sakujo. The Sakujo become the star. He fought in UFC. He fought in Pride at that time. He beat one of the top guys at Pride.
Yep.
So everybody started like, oh, who's Glover?
Yeah.
Well, he lost to Glover Teixeira. Who's Glover Teixeira? So then I got called from UFC. One of them me to fight in UFC. That was 2007.
Yep.
But I was illegal. They say, oh, you got to get your papers right.
Yeah.
So I went to a lawyer here and everything. So I'll have to go to Brazil so I can wait for the visa.
Stay there and then come
of
back.
course, I went to Brazil to stay a couple months. But of course, things got wrong there. Some papers got the lawyer did something.
Yeah,
It was,
yep.
Whatever.
Yep.
It was 3 years the wait over there. It was
Oh,
3
wow.
years. So that's when I joined, like I say, you know what? I fought the Abu Dhabi trials. This was the biggest grappling tournament in the world. This the Abu Dhabi, the ADCC. So I went to ADCC trials there, and all those guys there say, they're like, you're not even trained jiu-jitsu, man. You train MMA. You gonna do this? I say, yeah, I'm gonna do this, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a good wrestler.
Yeah.
I think I can take those guys. I won first place, and that's what everybody's like. Oh, okay.
Who's this guy?
He got knocked.
Yeah.
He knocked Sakujo out, but he got some ground too. You know, he
Yeah.
won the whole ADCC. This is the best grappling tournament in Brazil.
Yeah.
The best, the biggest, right? So, one in there, and I come over here. You know, my visa got. Then I fight everything. Like, talk about the rest. I fight everywhere. Every time I had like 5 fights lined up in 2 months. You know, at a time. I have a fight this week. I have a fight next week.
Yeah,
Some
wow.
guys get hurt. You know, I just keep fighting everyone.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna beat everyone. And if I'm 7-0 or whatever, 70 fight winning streak, they're gonna have to call me.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to come get me over here.
Yep.
So I keep fighting and
That's great though.
fight everything like grappling tournaments, and then that's why I joined the wrestling team and say, you know, let's wrestle too. So I become 2 times wrestling champion in Brazil.
Oh, that's
The
awesome.
wrestling in Brazil is getting better now.
Yeah.
It's not as big as the United States. You know, the United States is a different level of wrestling.
Yeah. Yep. Now with your game with inside of UFC, you know, what are you more comfortable? Are you more comfortable with wrestling, like getting, you know, the ground game, or whatever it takes to win?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu so much, and I think in Jiu-Jitsu I am. It's like it's comfortable for me being there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to be in bottom too much because in UFC is kind of in bottom in the guard like somebody.
Yeah.
Because people are good at that. Damian Maia, is very good at that. I just so I start training, and I train with Chuck Liddell too. So that's when my wrestling got really good.
Yeah.
That's why I trained all the wrestling. But I'll say I have a lot. I have knockouts and finish, but I'll say right now I feel more comfortable in the ground.
Yeah, yep. And your last fight was amazing.
Yeah, it was in the ground, yeah.
It's kind of funny because that's kind of like me and Chase were talking last night. That last fight kind of like is your career kind of, you know what I mean? You got hit in the face a few times. You got up and you just took control of the whole entire thing. And I mean, it was great. I mean, we were talking throughout the whole thing during the fight and stuff like that. And I mean, right? I mean, you would it was a great performance.
Yeah, and if you look at Glover's record and the people you fought and everything, it seems like you're definitely one of the most well-rounded light heavyweights out there, because you have knockouts, you have submissions, you have finishes. And so it's nice to see, like, you know, that you can cover all that area. I think it takes everything to be the best UFC fighter. You need to have good stand-up. You need to be good at boxing, but you also need to be very technical and good on the ground. And I think it's getting more and more competitive too. So, you know, the new guys coming up are as good as the old guys coming up. You know, it's getting more popular as a sport too. There's more people trying jiu-jitsu and trying MMA training, so obviously it's reaching more people. But yeah, no, it's been awesome. And your last fight was awesome. It was just a testament to like the way that you fight in the UFC and everything like that. So
take us through what it's like on fight day, because I'm sure you have a ritual, I'm sure, leading into it and everything like that. So I know I saw the other day you were, you know, before the fight, I think it was the day of maybe it was the weigh-in, you were in the tub doing doing Instagram Live and stuff.
Cutting weight, yeah.
Yeah, cutting weight, yeah. So tell us a little bit about like what your ritual is that you go through, because I would imagine it's the same, you know, psychologically you have to get your mind into fight mode.
Nah, you know, we go a week before because we got a bunch of stuff to do in UFC. We have to be there. The fight is on Saturday. You have to be there Tuesday.
Yep.
It's, you know, all the process of UFC, you know, interviews and sign posters, do this, do that. And, of course, it's better for you to cut weight too. So, yeah, it's the weight cutting, all the work. But, you know, it's like, for me, it's like, I love being there. This is the week of my, you know, all my training. And that week too, you don't train as much because you're cutting the weight and you wanna be fresh. You want to recover. You know, you don't want. You're already cutting weight, so you train a little bit technique. You're not gonna be like going crazy because it's already done. The camp is already done. So it's kind of like you become more happy, I guess, in a way, because I always say that because I think because we're training so much and getting tense in the training for 6 weeks, and they get into the end of the camp, you kind of get drained out, like, okay, diet for 6 weeks already, you know, and discipline and train hard. I spar every day, so it's kind of like
I'm finally here.
And then you're there, you're like, oh, okay, not training, doing interview, doing stuff like that. So I'm very happy every time I'm there, and the fight, man, is just a concentration, you know. This time was great. Brooklyn, you know, is right here.
Yeah,
I sleep
right
a lot. I sleep like probably 10 to 11 hours before this fight.
Oh, wow. That's good.
So it was amazing. I sleep, you know, and get up, get breakfast, go back, sleep again.
Yeah.
Pretty much just chill, relax, you know, after like 3 o'clock, just start having coffee, you know, and hang out. I like to hang out. I like to be
relaxed,
getting coffee with my friends and relax and talk, you know, a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
We go to the lobby and we talk, you know.
I see a lot of your videos and stuff.
Yeah, I don't like to be in the room, watch
Cooped
TV
up.
too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I did, you know, for Rashad, I stay watch SpongeBob all day. You know, just like
that was a great fight.
You know, it was in a hotel, so I'd be on the phone all the time. So SpongeBob is on TV, I'm just watching and laughing, kind of fell asleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so you like
just trying to have a clear mind.
Chill,
Yep.
Chill. So
that's great.
That helps you clear your mind because you put a cartoon there, you not really care about it.
Yeah.
But you watch and you kind of like rest, man. It's great.
Yeah. What was like your toughest fight, like your hardest battle, your toughest? I'm sure they're all extremely difficult, but what fight would you kind of describe as like, you know, your toughest battle that you had to go through? Win or loss?
I say John Jones, man, because I couldn't get the range on him for some reason. You know, I was very. Gustafsson was a tough fight too. the frustration, Gustafsson was more because he poked me in the eye. I couldn't see. John Jones did also poke me in the eye.
Yeah.
But with Gustafsson poke was pretty bad. Man.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like I couldn't see for 3 rounds.
Oof.
And you can't see from one eye. All right, this eye was okay, but try to poke yourself in one eye and see if you can. You can't just blink like this. I wish you could. You keep going like this all the time. It's both eyes. So
He's gotten in trouble for that, John Jones, a bunch in the ring for poking people in the eyes.
never really got in trouble. It's like
Well, they just say don't do it, but
A lot of
they
people
say
talk
still
about
does
it
it.
because he's done it a lot.
talk about it, but
Yeah, no,
That grabbing the cage and stuff like that.
yeah, but he's still but
you just couldn't get it like it just was this his reach? Like he's
he got long. Yeah, so that's
Really
like
long.
kind of like a frustration a little bit. Seeing the way they trained to close the distance, and he did close the distance a couple times. So that frustration, my arm was hurting, and he did that key lock that hurt my arm in the first round. So it's just like I think it was the toughest fight because I couldn't get that punch that I wanted.
Yeah. But I mean, John Jones is an amazing. I mean, he's an amazing
he's
fighter. It's
But
funny.
what do you think of that guy though? Like
He doesn't
with
need to
this-
poke people in the eyes, though.
No,
Why
he
is he? That's you know what I mean. It's
I
like
don't
No,
think
but
he's
he
doing
does, and he did, and then he had the whole thing with the steroids, and like, what do you think? I mean, this guy is. I think that he's not representing the sport very well for younger people coming up because he's showing that, like, he's kind of cheating a little bit, and he's poking people in the eyes in fights, and he's talking all this trash.
and he's the most talented. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if he does. I mean, he did take it. That's why he was suspended for. They found he say he didn't know. I don't know. I don't believe it when you say you didn't know because John Jones have way more resource than I am, right?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a champion,
Yeah.
so he can get any resource he can to test the supplements. I've been testing. I even posted it on Instagram the other day. I've been testing 25 times.
Yeah, we were
by
gonna comment on
USADA.
that. Yeah.
And unless they put something in my supplement there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Unless they
mean,
dose you.
unless they
Yeah.
change it, because the supplement that I take is, okay, this one is good, so I'm gonna keep with this one.
Yeah.
I don't take protein shake, a fish oil, stuff like that, vitamins and stuff. I don't take all this pre-workout thing.
Yeah, because those are the things that. But if you are taking a lot of those things, you can do the test yourself. If
Yeah.
you're that, if it's your career, like. Why wouldn't if you're doing something that you're not
Yeah,
sure of, why wouldn't you
test
test
the supplement.
yourself
Yeah,
if
test
it's
the
if it's
supplement.
on
Yeah.
or test the
Exactly,
supplement or
exactly.
like you said, he's got the resources
He got
out
a
there
resource, yeah.
to be able to do those things. That's actually something that we were going to comment on too about how you've tested, you every time, which is amazing. I mean, that's great because you're all natural, obviously. You know what I mean?
never done those things. I'm all into a healthy, way to eat. Organic, all this stuff. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna put any crap in my blood, man.
Yeah.
Unless like I say, I take the vitamins and supplements, a little bit of protein, but I don't take them.
Yep. The other thing I like about you is that, a lot of, UFC, a lot of it is a lot of show too. You have to talk it up, but you have to, a lot of guys basically talk shit, like like Connor. Connor's the biggest shit talker ever. But the thing that I love about you is you're so humble. You know what I mean? Like you very rarely see you getting into any of that. Like you generally praise. You know what I mean? So is that kind of come from just who you are, the type of person you are? You seem like you carry yourself very humble. You just throughout town and everything. Everybody knows you and stuff. So I mean, is that just kind of how you are?
Yeah, man. I mean, I just like to fight. I'm not don't hold anything against anybody.
Yeah.
Go over there and fight. But Conor, he did change the game a little bit. People start talking more shit about it, calling each other, and put all this stuff in Instagram, Twitter, because you see that works. The thing with me is like,
You let your fight do the talking.
I already, I have a fight to do the talking, but it could be like you can always make more money. It's a good way to make money. It's a good way to
Yeah.
get title shot.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I'm just not gonna change it. I don't have the energy to change the game right now. I put my energy in something else.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy to be like, okay, like guys like you and guys like him, they gonna know it's like it's just an acting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's been this way his whole career, and now he's coming over there and change it. It's just gonna be my way, man, all the way. And
Yeah. I mean, when
I think the shit talking works though. Works to get a fight, get a better fight, and also sell.
Yeah.
Sell. When you start talking, you just sell the pay-per-view. So
Yep.
it's like I get nothing against that.
Yeah, I
Nothing
mean,
against
Dana White probably likes
love
it.
it.
He has to love it. I mean,
Yeah.
and the thing that's funny is that sometimes it borderlines like like WWE, like the stuff with Connor in the parking garage and stuff.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
that's like what you see on the.
It grows.
I know.
It grows on you.
I know.
It's like
What do you think about that fight? The fight with Connor and Khabib. I think in that case, sometimes maybe he, talking too much to the wrong person might elevate their,
I don't think they're talking affecting a fighter. I don't think.
No,
they're
you don't
I
think so? Once you get in there,
Khabib. Look at what Khabib did with the guy that didn't talk shit to them.
Yeah, that's true.
To him,
That's a
you know
good
what I
point.
mean?
And the
So-
bear's not talking shit, right? The bear that he wrestles with.
No.
That bear doesn't talk any shit,
No.
and he wrestled with him. So,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah. So what do you think about that fight? I mean, is there gonna be a rematch? What are your thoughts on that? Khabib's a hell of a fighter, huh?
I don't know if Conor wants to that rematch. you
Yeah,
know?
I don't know. Either.
I don't know.
I don't know that he can win that fight.
Yeah, for him, he'll make money fighting Anderson Silva.
Yep.
He already tell be an honor.
Well,
to
they're saying
fight
he's supposed to
Anderson.
fight.
No, he's
Cowboy.
fighting Cowboy Cerrone,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
He's fighting Cowboy. He's looking for those big fights like that. He even mentioned something about Jose Aldo. He's like, oh, I'll fight Jose Aldo again.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Something
Did he
like
already
that.
fight him? Yeah. Yep.
And Anderson just won. I mean, he didn't win, but he did a great fight last week, and he commented something on that too. He's picking his fight. He's trying to get in that big fights, but
Yeah.
he's not trying to go after Khabib at all.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
like, let Khabib
Yeah, maybe
beat
just
somebody else.
Yeah, maybe just
Yeah.
leave him
Yeah.
alone. Maybe just
know,
let him go beat up some other
because
people.
he's gonna make money fighting.
He's the
somebody
draw,
else.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So Khabib, I mean, maybe a little bit more money with Khabib, but hey, a little bit more money with that guy, or less money with this guy.
Yeah.
I'll take this guy. you know?
Yeah. Yep. I
Well,
mean,
Khabib is a different beast.
yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
different. But I remember like right after the fight, Connor asked for a rematch right away. But then a couple months go by and he starts to think about what happened and he goes, maybe I should leave this guy alone. He takes another fight.
Yeah.
But they're saying that also he could fight Cerrone, and if he wins, if he beats him, then maybe he gets another shot.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, but like what he's saying, I don't know that he wants that.
No, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a fighter, He's a good fighter. He talks, but he back it up,
Well, what do you think about Connor though? Like, what are your thoughts on him as far as a fighter goes and stuff? Like,
He's a great fighter.
Yeah.
I think he's a great fighter. I think he beat the best, man. He's like he's legit.
Yeah, and he made
I don't think he can beat Khabib.
Yeah.
Just the wrestling is gonna destroy.
It's gonna hurt him
yeah.
every time. Yeah.
But he's I think he was better. I think he's got come down a little bit right now. Maybe.
Yeah.
Too much money.
That's what I was gonna say, and he also did the biggest money grab in the history of money grabs with the Floyd thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's got to do something to you. That's actually a good question that I have for you. Like, when you hit that, like with Connor, and you hit that plateau, and you have that huge, stardom of where he was at. Within any sport, I think it affects you, whether you're a basketball player, no matter what you are. But I feel as though, like with MMA, like it's like eat or be eaten type of thing. Like it comes down to just duking it out, like in the ring. So I'm not sure.
The thing with MMA is this: like Hey man, but the fight is have to be is humble because he humble you down, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you have. Like it's
Yeah.
not a basketball that you're gonna or whatever. You're gonna go and they and like like Connor, he make a lot of money. Everybody want to whoop his ass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody,
Yeah.
and they going to look what Khabib did to him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. It's a humiliation in a little bit. That's how you feel, And the fight is kind of like you go over there, lose a fight, you kind of feel embarrassed, man.
Yeah.
It's like, man, try, but you try your best, and it's losing. It sucks.
Yeah.
And you over there fighting. You're not just losing. You're not losing a game with a bunch of other.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
your fault. Man. It's not my fault. You didn't play well.
It's you.
Yeah.
It's
just
you. It's right there. You
Yeah.
know, like you're getting beat by this other guy, and it sucks.
Yeah.
You're trying to do the best, and but Conor, he got the heart. He's a good fighter. He got the heart. He fought, man. He tried on Khabib fight. He's trying to the end.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. So I know you mentioned some of the other Brazilian guys. Are you close with the other Brazilian fighters like Anderson and Aldo and a lot of these guys? Or
Yeah, I mean, I know all those guys. I know I'm a good friend with Aldo. We hang out in Brazil. We used to train together a little bit. And Lyoto Machida is my good friend. We used to train a lot. Pedro Rizzo.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, like pretty much. When you're in Brazil, we go for the medias.
Yeah.
We're always hanging out with each other, but like,
Yeah.
they're all cool people, man.
That's great.
Junior Dos Santos, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about business a little bit. So you have the gym that you've kind of always had a gym, right? But this is your first
No, not always.
No?
I started the gym in 2014.
Okay.
2014 over there in Beaverbrook,
Yep.
I had right next to ATT, we had a little MMA stuff. That's what I say. I start teaching MMA because, like you mentioned earlier, like the sport is growing. Right now, people, like kids, like my Hawaiian camp, we teach everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
My Hawaiian camp for the kids, we teach like combination with the shots. A combination with the punch, guys. All right, left hook, uppercut, go for single leg takedown, pass the guard, mount, go for the arm bar. So it's all completely there, right? With MMA gloves, or sometimes with the boxing gloves, So we have all now the little kids start in the MMA.
Yeah.
It's not like, my background in wrestling, my background, and I start like that. I start when I watch Royce Gracie, I say, I want to train jiu-jitsu, but I want to train jiu-jitsu for MMA, for UFC. I didn't want to compete jiu-jitsu. I did compete in jiu-jitsu sometimes, but all my focus was for MMA. So that's why I learned wrestling a lot, because you mentioned earlier about some of my fights are knockout, some of my fights are, a submission. It depends on the opponent that I fight. I fight a wrestler, I'm going to work my takedown defense and my strike. I'm going to knock this guy out.
Yep.
And I fight a striker. My key is to take him down and
all depends
finish on the ground.
Yep.
So I have that leverage in the fights, because I start with MMA.
Yep.
I'm not a guy that like, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I cannot stand up with this guy.
Yeah.
And right now that's what I teach in the gyms. I start with the MMA in the gym. Right now I have pretty much everything. We have all martial arts there, like open up in Bethel, and we have like jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, all separate stuff.
Yeah,
So if
you have a lot of
wanna
space there.
if you just want to do kickboxing,
You can do that.
Like the women, they don't like to do like MMA.
Yeah.
They like to be grabbing, wrestling people. They like to do some kickboxing, and so we have and some people just love to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is fun. Go over there, put the gi on, and
Yeah. That's
so
great.
we have everything right now. But my main class is the Hawaiian Campo. It's come from John Hackman, the karate.
Yep.
But I will teach everything in Hawaiian Campo. It will teach takedown defense, striking, and takedowns, everything, MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want
that's
to train
awesome.
those kids to be the next UFC
Yeah, that's what I was,
fighter.
and that kind of goes back to what you were saying too. When you're grooming them at such a young age,
Yeah.
a lot of the fighters now were, either they did different types of martial arts or they were wrestlers. So then they had the one skill, they had to learn the other. But now kids are going to grow up with, learning, all those skills together at the same time. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see.
It's so funny, man. It's like that's what I'm saying. I'm enjoying my job so much right now. I'm like, and this vibe that is just like, I know I love fighting, but I keep telling people like, like I say like all the time, like, hey, I hate that I'm 39, man, because I know, you can't fight. Anderson fight 43, Anderson is like, all fighters have a different, you see guys fighting like, oh, this guy's fighting that age. This guy quit, like Cain Velasquez, for example. Not quitting, but like, he's going to have some miles on him, all the injuries that happen with him. And he's only like 35 or 36 years old, and you see Anderson Silva, 43 years old. But Anderson, the style that he had,
and
he
he's
never
very-
really take that much damage.
Yeah.
Some fights, of course, got KO, broke his leg, but, not
When he
beating
sticks
it
his
too
head
much.
out there.
Yeah.
When he sticks his head out there, he does it to himself.
You know what I mean? But like, the way I love about fighting now, I love about this teaching so much. Like, it's so crazy when you see a kid, right? Like, I teach everything, but you see all those kids, they all have a different, like, this kid, he have a hard time to learn stand-up. He's focused, but in jiu-jitsu, he learns so fast. He just grab it. You know what I mean? You can get 2 kids and put it at the same time. Well, I'd say 10 kids, right? They go at the same time, start training, and those 10 kids, like, maybe 2 or 3 of them is going to be really good in jiu-jitsu, and the other one's going to be really good at striking, and the other 2 is going to be really good at wrestling.
Yeah.
So, it's like they all learn everything.
Yep.
They all do the same class, but they all have the different, abilities to learn a different martial arts. Like this guy's like the build or the way he trains. It's just fun. It's fun to see the way they grow. Look at this kid. I tell my my guys that coach for me, my fighters.
Yeah.
I say, look at this kid, man. He cannot do an arm bar. I've been teaching him arm bar for like 3 weeks. He cannot do, but look at his left hook. Look at his kick and he stand up. He's like sharp. But in the jiu-jitsu, he have a little difficult time,
Yeah.
And it's all there, and you got to work with him in the ground a little more.
And this is your way of, when you are done fighting, to stay in the fight game.
Yeah, I
you
love
know what
it.
I mean?
I
Because
love
you're going to
this.
have these guys. I mean, without a doubt, there's obviously the goal is to have somebody come up through your camp and you to be, a mentor. I'm sure you are a mentor towards a lot of fighters that are in your camp now. But it's a way for you to stay, a part of the sport and to keep growing with the sport.
Yeah.
But. I don't know unless you plan on being like Bernard Hopkins and fighting until you're in your 50s. But I don't know that any MMA guy could do that, though, right? Like,
no, I'm gonna keep fighting. I feel good. Training.
Yeah, you
my
look great.
Training is amazing. I'm
you look
I
good out
still
there.
love it. I still
Yeah.
like motivated every day to go train. So. And I'm still doing good, Last fight I won.
Oh, yeah,
You got a fight coming up, too,
I got
right?
this fight coming up, and other guys, I got to beat him, and
Nice.
And, we keep going, but like, I'm not want to be the guy that, like I say, I have this gym going. I'm happy with the gym. I'm gonna keep fighting for fun.
Yeah.
Do what I love to do, but of course, things start going south, man. It's time to change, right? It's time to go different things. So I already have that kind of backup.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Now, besides wanting to help with the kids, and kind of grooming them and being a mentor, it always seems like that you've always repped Danbury, and I know you're just over the Danbury line now in Bethel.
Yeah.
But
Well, we got a
so you came
good
here.
place.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great, it's a great city. We didn't get Amazon. Well, we don't know. We might be getting Amazon. I don't know. Amazon. Who knows what the deal with Amazon is? But Danbury is an awesome city. You've always kind of like, taken pride in saying that you're from Danbury and stuff. So, you know, you're a community guy, which is awesome. You know, a lot of these kids, they look up to you, they come and they train with you and stuff like that. So we just think that it's just an awesome story. So that's one of the many reasons why we wanted to kind of get you in and kind of talk to you and stuff. So, you know.
I mean, you know, Danbury, man, like United States, I always say this, you know, I love this country. If I have to, I'll fight for this country. You know?
Yeah.
I'll fight for this country because, you know, I'm going for dual citizen right now. And I come over here, this country give me all the opportunity that I need, you know.
Yeah.
All what I want. Of course, I love Brazil as well.
Yeah.
It's my country, it's my family. But the way I grew up in Brazil, I had a difficult time where I grew up, you know, on a farm. I didn't have all the access to gym, and I wanted to be this. Who knows? Maybe if I stayed in Brazil, I wouldn't become a fighter, you know?
Yeah.
And I wanted to, this has been in my blood. And then I come in Danbury, and Danbury give me the opportunity. And I marry my wife. She's from Danbury.
Oh, that's great.
She's and you know, bunch of friends right now. I've been here for so long. I come in '99, man.
Yeah.
You know, I've been like more time.
Yeah, the Blockbuster was there.
Yeah, I've been more time in Danbury than in Brazil.
Oh wow, yeah, it's true.
I was here when I was 19. Now I'm 39, so I've been 20 years. And this, I moved to California for a little bit for training with Chuck. But you know, always been based over here. So I have a good base of friends over here. So I wanna. And be able to help those kids, man. And like I say, it's just a passion of mine to teach young kids. You know, I'm talking about like kids all age, but like 18 years old. I have a bunch of like 20, 19 years old that wanted to be UFC fighters right now, you know. And that's a good motivation for them. I say, hey, man, I started, I was 22 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and I have all that delayed for the green card. Otherwise, I'll be in until 27.
Yeah.
In 5 years, you know, when I got called to. So you can do it. You can do it. You just gotta push forward, you know, focus and have the ability of what people have, you know. I love it.
Yep. And it's kind of funny because everything that you're talking about with MMA and stuff, and you know, in the mixed martial arts is kind of along the same lines as business. You just have to keep going and going and going and just keep chipping away. You know, it's not always going to go the way you want. Sometimes you're going to get punched in the face. Sometimes you're going to get knocked out. Same thing with inside of business and dealing with business, although it hurts inside a little more. It hurts inside with business as far as what you're doing, it hurts outside, you know, but
no, it hurts inside, believe me.
Yeah.
You don't feel, if it was just the pain, it's so, because think it this way, it doesn't hurt outside.
Yeah.
Because when you lose a fight, all right, you have a little bit cuts, and you go outside, you're sitting there, and you're so disappointed.
yeah.
And they take you to the hospital, and you start feeling those cuts, those
Yeah.
pain. When you win a fight, you don't care if you have a broken leg.
Yeah, right.
You're just like, I
feel
want a
good.
beer, I want to go outside, I don't want to go to doctors, I don't go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't feel that pain, you just feel that you know what?
Yeah.
Let's go drink some beer, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Get my
ask you. So
broken-
after
you
a
know?
win, you go out and celebrate. And,
Yeah, I'm not a big party guy, but like
yeah.
you know,
But
I
after a
like,
win,
I like to hang out with the guys and talk about, you know.
Yeah.
And then everybody have something to talk about, you know, like by last fight.
Yeah.
People was like, oh my God, you stuck in an elbow. I was like going crazy. And then you come up and take him down. I was like, oh. Just to,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
awesome.
for my friends, you
Yeah.
know, like I'm drinking, I see the fans come down. I always love to do that, man.
That's
Always,
awesome, man.
You stay, you know. Last time we just stayed in a hotel lobby, and people were just coming in and talk about the fight, you know, the way he see. I was like, that was kind of cool, man.
That's awesome, man.
There's a story out there that Scott told me about that one when you started fighting. I think you won a fight and then you started fighting for the UFC. At some point, you were working as a landscaper, and then you came back and worked a day with the crew. That the landscaping crew,
do it, yeah.
you did that
I do it all the time.
after you got. Oh,
That's
you do it all the
awesome.
time.
I do it all the time, yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Why do you do that? I'd love to do
I
it.
do, you know, my friend, I used to work with this guy in the beginning. His name is Eddie Freitas. He's from my hometown, Sobralia.
Yep.
He's the one, though, that he got me to a boxing match, right? This is like before I watched that Blockbuster tape.
Yep.
All right? We work in a carpenter with Poughkeepsie. He's like, we're doing a house over there, like a cold, you know? And he's like, we went to a deli to buy food. He's like, hey, Glove, why don't you do this competition over here called the Tough Man Competition?
Yeah.
I don't know, I was big and lifting weights at the time, no training.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, what is that? He's like, it's an arm wrestling competition. You win $5,000 though. I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know? So we went to Poughkeepsie. Everybody was shadow boxing, you know? And I was like, what is this, arm wrestling competition? She's like, oh, I thought Tough Man is arm wrestling, but he's boxing. And then he's like, but if you're afraid, that's okay. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
So I put the gloves on, and I actually beat the first guy, all like crazy. Everybody was, you ever heard of Tough Man competition?
Yeah.
You know, they just take people like,
In a
anybody can
warehouse.
sign up.
Yeah, you're in
Anybody
like a
can sign
warehouse,
up.
right?
Yeah.
It's like
But they have some good boxers too
yeah,
that sign
no,
up,
they
you
get
know?
yeah.
So second fight I lost, that's when I'm like, hey, I'm gonna watch some tapes of fighting, and I'm gonna start
that's what got you.
training.
That's what gave you the
so
itch.
this guy, you know, right? We were working a carpet at that time because winter time, landscape stop.
Yep.
He had a little company, landscape, so I started work with him. You know, my good friend from my hometown too in Brazil, but start work with him, and then I become, you know, I left his company to go to California.
Yep.
And he's like, you know, he's always like, hey man, go after your dream, but you know, when you come back, if you ever come back, you know, I hope you don't, but if you ever come back, the door will be open.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of cool. And I love to be outside too, man. Remember my old times, you know, working hard. So
Yeah, humble
summertime,
yourself.
I'm always like, I call him and say, hey, you need a part-time? He's like,
That's awesome, man.
night before, you need a part-time for tomorrow? He's like, hey, usually I go on Wednesday because it's my day off of training.
Yeah.
So Wednesday, you know, he already knows. He's like, hey, 6 o'clock tomorrow. I'm like, damn it. you know?
Yeah, that's great though, man. I just think that's such an awesome
It's too
story, and it's
cool.
funny because I don't hear about it like a big news thing. I just heard about it through this guy, through that guy, through that guy, like somebody that used to train with you
No, I still
over at
go,
the other
man.
gym
I
and
still go. I
stuff.
post it all the time.
That's
I love
awesome,
it, you know,
man.
We hang out.
That's great. That's great, man.
You know,
Well, listen. So, who's your next fight against? Do you have it?
Young Cutelaba,
Okay, where's that at?
Florida.
Okay, cool. Where in Florida?
April 27. They say Miami, Florida. But we do Miami, Fort Lauderdale. But
Okay.
they say UFC Miami. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
April 27. Yeah.
April 27th. We're excited. We're excited.
We'll be
definitely
rooting for you,
cheer
man.
you on. So, all right, we really appreciate you coming down. You know, it was awesome. Thank you so much. I know you'd mentioned about possibly doing a podcast. We can turn you into the Brazilian
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
What do you say? Brazilian
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
I just
We can
saw-
turn
yeah.
you into, right?
I kind of want to, I want to do that because, you know, it's just, I want to do it for watching the fights, though, because sometimes I have my friends that watch the fight. We always have disagreement, you know, but those guys, like, before they drink too much, they have a good argument. Right? Sometimes they drink too much.
And then they're
Sometimes
arguing.
some of my friends drink
Yeah.
too much. They go like, I can beat that guy.
Yeah,
I'll beat that
not
guy.
now, not
You
that.
know?
Oh, boy.
But like,
and then Glover comes over, just puts you in a real quick little sleeper hole.
But I always think like, sometimes we have the best conversation, you know, funny, and this guy start talking like, oh, that guy's boring, man. I can't beat that guy.
Yeah,
And
yep,
like we have my
yep.
friend. So I was like, hey, man, if we put this on the table in a podcast, how
Yeah.
funny that would be.
Maybe we'll
You
do it.
thought,
Let's
you
do
know?
it sometime. We'll get you and your friends. We'll set the
Watch
thing up.
the
We'll
fight,
watch a
yeah.
fight and we'll just comment and go upon it. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Right?
You're gonna have to have some beer though.
Yeah.
That beer's not gonna beat that.
Oh,
You better put it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be hilarious.
But yeah, we're definitely looking to keep networking with you, keep growing with you. Let's do something, whether it be once in a while you check in on the podcast. You know, we'd like to have you as a regular guest and
Sure.
stuff. So
Of course, man.
and just keep growing with you. So Chase is going to go ahead and close us out.
Yep. So thanks everybody for joining us. And if you're looking to learn more about Glover and Teixeira MMA and Fitness, you can visit their website at www.teixeirammaandfitness.com. Follow them on Twitter at Teixeira MMA _CT, Instagram at Teixeira MMA and Fitness, YouTube and Facebook. Just search Teixeira MMA and Fitness. Glover, thanks so much for coming by. It was awesome having you. For all of our listeners, if you want to find out more about the Mack Talks, how to listen and subscribe, you can visit our website, www.themacktalks.com. If you like our content, please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like us on Facebook. Also, follow us on Instagram. That's at Mack Talks. MACK Talks. And if you want to give Scott and I a follow as well, you can find us at Scotty Content and at Chase Hutchison. And that's it.
Glover, thank you so much, man. Go knock that dude out in Miami. All right,
All right, man. Thanks.
brother.
Let's
Thanks,
go.
man. Let's go. All right, everybody. Thanks. Have a good day.